So right now I'm on my KTM. I got this motorcycle about 20 days ago. It's a nice bike. I'm liking it. There are a few flaws in the motorcycle, like the low end absolutely sucks. It's below 4,000 RPM. This motorcycle just feels dead. Now, I've not ridden this motorcycle a lot. I've only done about 650 kilometers. So I would reserve my judgment on how good or bad this motorcycle really is. I've not taken it on the highway yet. I've mostly done city riding. I've not taken it off-road. I've not done any of the crazy jumps. Not that I ever do crazy jumps, but now that I have this motorcycle, I'm gonna try a bit of fun off-road with my friend Dinesh, who also picked this motorcycle up. You might know him as Dinesh Chahal Vlogs, DCV. One of the finest YouTubers, motorcycle YouTubers in the country, in my opinion. So how does this motorcycle feel in city? I think this makes for a very good commuter. If you fix the low end torque, I think it'll be a perfect commuter. It gives a very commanding riding position. I can see over most vehicles on the road, not the trucks of course. The wheelbase is long, it's very stable, it's very light, so it's only about 158 kilos, and I'm used to riding heavier motorcycles, so you know, this feels like a blessing. It's a very light motorcycle. It's very easy to flick in and out of traffic. It's got enough power once you have it in the power band, which really starts about 4,000 RPM. I've not taken it about 6,500 RPM. I'm sure, I think it's locked till about 1,000 kilometers. First service, it cannot rev past 6.5. But that's okay. I haven't really felt the need to, since I've not been on the highway. Even at 6,500 RPM, it cruises easily at 120 kilometers an hour. So even though I'm in traffic right now, I'm not facing any issues. I'm good with reserve power. The brakes are very nice. The suspension, the front suspension is pretty darn good. It's very plush. The travel seems adequate till the time you start doing stupid things. So the other day I jumped this motorcycle from a pavement and I bottomed it out. I hit the bash plate on a small rock below, but that's just completely my fault. These motorcycles are not meant to do silly stuff, right? So I think it's a very good commuter motorcycle, and it would also make a good highway motorcycle. So well, I expect to see a lot of these motorcycles, the 390 ADV, doing Ladakh this year. Couple of things about this motorcycle that, you know, I'm not really a very big fan of. The rear suspension, I find it to be just a bit too stiff. I've done a few long rides. So in September I did, you know, Delhi to Goa and back to Delhi in less than a week. That's about 4,000 kilometers on my Triumph Street Twin that I just sold off. And I had zero complaints about comfort over there. My back never really hurt, no bother there. But on this motorcycle, somehow, you know, it doesn't agree with my lower back. Maybe it's because of the rear suspension, which I just find to be extremely stiff. Now, even after you know, changing the preload settings, I have kept it soft. I kept it hard earlier, but I wasn't liking it. So it's on step 4 from the soft test. And it's manageable right now, but it's still not the best. The other thing is the rebound is very slow on this rear suspension. Now I understand a slow rebound is necessary when, you know, something is meant to go off-road, so that it doesn't really throw you off the bars by being very fast over a jump. Believe me, that has happened to me on a full suspension mountain bike where I broke a collarbone because the rebound was set too high. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of the suspension, but otherwise this motorcycle, it feels nice. There are slight vibrations in it, but again, you know, I come from a background of riding multiple cylinder motorcycles. The benchmark here is a Triumph Street Triple, which has zero vibes. Then the Street Twin, which has zero vibes. Then my Interceptor, which has zero vibes. Then I also end up riding, you know, other motorcycles of my friends, big cylinder, multi-cylinder motorcycles, liter class motorcycles. So the benchmark is set pretty high, and that's not a fair comparison, because at the end of the day, this is a single cylinder motorcycle, and you know, it's you get what you pay for, right? So, and you get quite a lot for the very little money that you pay for this motorcycle. About 3.54 lakh rupees on road Delhi. What else will you get for 3.5 lakh rupees? I really like this motorcycle. So the few vibrations can be ignored. Then one little thing on this bike that, you know, again, this is going to be a very controversial thing that I'm going to say, but I think the quick shifter, the up and down quick shifter on this motorcycle is just a gimmick. It doesn't work very well. It's not really, you know, it's not smooth. At the end of the day, it's not smooth. So most of my motorcycles, they have a quick shifter on them. I ride my Interceptor, I just put a Powertronic quick shifter on it, and that is smoother. That's an aftermarket shifter, and that's smoother than what the company provides here. My Street Triples quick shifter, it's an upshifter only. The Interceptor is upshifter only, but they're just extremely smooth. It comes as second nature once you start using them. On this motorcycle, the quick shifter, it's very harsh. Maybe, you know, with once the gearbox has gotten a few kilometers on it, maybe it'll smoothen out, but as of now, I don't use the quick shifter on this motorcycle. It feels slow, it feels clunky, and I just find using the clutch to be more convenient just for this motorcycle. Otherwise, let me tell you, I hate electronics. I hate the idea of electronics on a motorcycle. I believe a person should be in complete control of any motorcycle. But having said that, I still am a very big fan of the quick shifter. If the only electronic that I should have on my motorcycle, I'd rather choose you know, an up quick shifter over everything else. I don't like traction control. I don't like ABS on motorcycles. There, so anyway, so I don't really like the quick shifter of this motorcycle. Other than that, the wind protection is okay. It's not that bad. I wish they had a taller screen, but then I'm not sure whether that will throw more wind buffeting to my helmet. We'll have to wait and see once somebody develops, you know, a kit for it, a taller screen for it. I've also put in 1-inch handlebar risers on this motorcycle because, you know, I found the handlebars to be slightly low for when you would want to stand up and ride this motorcycle. Especially for taller people. I'm not a tall guy. I am about 5 feet 10.5 inches, which is slightly better than average in the Indian context. I can flat foot this motorcycle in, you know, both feet down, no problem. A lot of people have complained about the seat height being extremely high. I don't agree with that. Once you start riding a motorcycle, once you gain enough experience, if you can get one foot down and the other foot is on the foot peg, I think it should be fine. It should be manageable. Well, again, you know, whatever makes you comfortable, man. If you feel comfortable on the motorcycle, go ahead, buy it, ride it. I think a lot of people, this motorcycle has not sold a lot yet because a lot of people are skeptical about the ride height. Guys, just ride the motorcycle yourself and get a feel of it. Don't go by what, you know, most YouTubers are saying, most reviewers are saying. Get a feel of the motorcycle yourself before buying every single time. It's you who's going to ride the motorcycle, not those YouTubers for you. So it's a very nice bike. I'm liking it. It has a big bike presence, extremely light. Now, the one thing that I really love about this, do you see this, guys? It says fuel range 490 kilometers. Now, obviously, it's not going to go 490 kilometers because I'm not going to ride like this on the highway all the time. But a conservative estimate, if you're riding on the highway and you're maintaining about 120, I see this motorcycle going at least 350 kilometers easily. Now, that's quite a big deal. I have toured a bit on my Triumph Street Triple. That motorcycle, if you ride it conservatively, it does about 240 kilometers before you start worrying about fuel. Now, same goes with my Street Twin. After about 220, 240 kilometers, you start looking for fuel. The Interceptor, well, I always ride the Interceptor a bit too fast than what it really should be. So again, 200, 220, and I start looking for fuel. Now on this motorcycle, I don't think I'll have to look for fuel before finishing 350 kilometers, and that's a very big deal. So it's a very good on-road motorcycle. It's suited for the highway. Just a few niggles, as I said. We'll also have to figure out, what do you call it, luggage options for this bike. Right now I'm just I don't know, I'm thinking of riding somewhere tomorrow just to finish the kilometers off and get it serviced. By the way, I did not wait for the first 1,000 kilometers for my first service. What I did was, at about 200 kilometers, I did an oil change. I added Liqui-Moly Street Race engine oil in this bike. I just got a basic service done at Speed Monk's Performance Center, and the bike became so much smoother. The mineral oil that it was running on, the KTM stock oil, I don't know what that is, but it's rubbish. It's absolute rubbish. As soon as I added Liqui-Moly, man, the bike changed. My complaints about too many vibrations, not a lot of smoothness, slight roughness in the engine, they all disappeared. Anyway, so I am about to reach Speed Monks. You can see these broken roads, these broken stretches. The bike just does wonderfully well. Let me just try and ride it standing up. Yeah, I still think the handlebar needs to be slightly taller. But now here's the problem with that. This motorcycle will only take a 1-inch riser with the stock cables. It will not take a taller bar till the time you don't change your cables, and that's going to be a very expensive proposition, because you will have to change your clutch cable, which is the cheapest of the lot. You can go in for a Himalayan cable, which is only about 170 rupees, round figures. The brake cable is going to be a problem, the ABS cable is going to be a problem, the throttle cable, all of these, I don't know if I'd want to change them just to get taller bars, or even if I do change them, it's just going to be expensive. And the whole point of this motorcycle is not to spend a lot of money. It's a very cost-effective motorcycle. Anyway, we are at Speed Monks now, so once I go inside, I will switch to my other camera and let's see what we'll do about the motorcycles. Oh, the radiator fan just came on. Oh yeah, this doesn't heat up. Even if it does, I'm unable to tell, because my multi-cylinder motorcycles, they heat up significantly more, so I really can't tell if this bike is getting hot.